that you don't think there's not a container.
So now you're saying you do think there's a container.
No. I'm saying I don't know.
So you don't agree with their position because they're saying that there is a container.
Are you going to let him finish, Jim?
Don't try the double speak.
You're cutting him off to try and get your name.
Well, he's doing the double speak, isn't
No,
he?
you're twisting his words.
All right, go ahead.
Jem, if you're gonna try this game with me, you are gonna lose sorely, my friend.
Okay, let me ask you outright then. Is there a container?
Your butt is probably still sore from yesterday.
Is there a container, Essie?
And you're taking it out on me.
Is there a container?
In order for there to be gas pressure on this ball of yours, right? There has to be containment, yes.
Okay, right. So we're getting somewhere. So now there is a container. So how does this container relate to the stars? Are they part of the container? Are they within the container? How do they relate to it?
Okay, listen up.
Listen
up. Okay. I don't give a shit about the stars or anything else. We're talking about gas pressure, right?
Yeah, okay, so are you saying you don't know?
Stop talking.
You're not answering my question.
I don't give a shit about your question. Your model states that you are on a ball spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, surrounded by water.
Why are you saying this again?
You don't care about actually the conversation. You want to
you cut me off, traveling.
What's your agenda, Montreal? You don't want to answer questions. You don't want to engage in conversation. You want to preach.
Jose, shut up.
What's your agenda, Montreal? What's your agenda?
You're just preaching and not answering my question.
You are a useless individual. You're a two-faced.
Sit down and shut up. You've already said you don't know about some of this stuff. If your position is on the stars that you don't know, just say you don't know.
The stars are lights in the sky. You don't know what they are either. What are the stars, Jem? Go.
Well, somehow, according to you.
No, somehow. I asked you a question.
I'm answering.
You asked me a question. Now I'm asking you one. What are the stars, Jem?
However, at the moment, this conversation is about the flat Earth model.
No, you're turning double speaking.
You're cutting me off now.
Yes, I am. Until you answer my question.
Okay, my point was.
What are the stars, Jem? Go.
Hard way for you. Okay. So, my point was that the flat Earth model demands that these stars are spinning around at over 3,000 miles an hour. Now, some flat earthers say that the stars are sort of, embedded in the dome in some way, in this container in some way. So I was just, I was exploring what your position is. But the point is, they must be spinning at least that speed. At least that speed.
Why?
Because that's what we observe.
Do the stars go across the sky?
If it were the stars that were spinning and not the Earth, that is.
Do they go faster than the sun? Because the sun only has to be 25.
But it depends. I mean, it depends where you put them. But what I did was work out the distance to the ice wall, and figure out what the miles per hour would be from there.
2,437 miles.
So it has to be at least over 3,000 miles an hour, and it could be. It depends if they say there's land beyond that, and the dome is anchored at some point beyond that, then it would be even faster. I just think it's interesting that they do this incredulity thing about the Earth spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and yet the stars are doing over 3,000 at least.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there would be it would be at least 3 times, or almost 3 times as somewhere between around 3 times as big, one full rotation a day. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, sorry, I left SE muted. Go ahead, SE. Sorry.
You're a coward, Jem. You're a coward, bro.
Just trying to finish your
sentence.
Screw you.
Hold on. If you're going to call me a coward, all I was trying to do was finish what I had to say, and you were stopping me from doing that. And when I pointed that out, you said, "Yes, I am going to continue to stop you from doing that." So you gave me no choice. So don't call me a coward. You
had a choice, you coward.
Hey, Rocky, stop being a fucking hypocrite.
You're just pig ignorant.
You had
go
a
ahead.
choice. You muted him because you want to show your power.
Why not?
Look,
Why not?
when I cut him off and he pointed it out, I backed down and let him finish. He said he wasn't going to do that. He was going to keep interrupting me to prevent me from talking. So I had no choice. That's why I muted him.
Mute yourself sometimes when you're over talking. Just be fair.
Shut the fuck up, hypocrite.
I just described how I did that.
Question from Montreal.
We all heard.
Could you point out holes in the flat Earth concept?
I can't answer that honestly.
No, it's perfect.
Who was that? That was good.
Yes, Jose had to be.
So you see what happened here? These double speakers. We were talking about a certain
shut up,
car.
you hypocrite.
Just let him say what he's
get it
going
out.
Traveling out. Here, they're gonna
Shouldn't
cut
that
me
guy
off
be
again.
muted?
Yeah, he's gonna mute me.
You see what me and Jen both did? All right.
We both said to him, let him get it out. We both said that straight away. Go ahead, Essie, please.
So I know I trigger you, Gemma. You know, it happens. We were talking about a car, a certain car from Iron Man, which he launched into space. You guys told me it's on its way around the sun. And when I pointed out how stupid and ridiculous it is, Jem came in to deflect and play his game with the dome and this and that.
Yeah, I was just talking about the things that you believe to be true, but you don't want to talk about those because you're scared to have them challenged. I understand.
No, but why would you change
They
it?
are upset. They are absurd, and I understand you don't want to have that absurdity challenged because that's disturbing for you, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what it is. You got me, Jem. You got me.
Yeah, so Montreal, from somebody who's outside the conversation, what it sounds like you just said is, I came in to interrupt a conversation about Starman, which is not Iron Man, which is something you got factually incorrect. To insert your incredulity as a reason why it can't occur, and then you decided to double speak on a number of situations and have a chat with Jim in which you aren't going to allow him to finish his statements.
We've
Right,
defended
that's exactly
we've
how it
defended
went
what we believe to be true for 24/7 for 3 years. You should be prepared to defend what you believe to be true, and it should bother you that you aren't. You're only prepared to attack what other people think is true. That should bother you.
It doesn't bother me because I'm honest to myself. It doesn't bother me. What should bother me?
Well,
Tell me, what should bother me, Jem?
well, I don't think you are honest with yourself because I think you
Show
operate.
your opinion.
Well, everyone's only giving their opinion, Rakir.
Yeah, but you're
I think
saying
that
he's
you operate-
doing it wrong. The way he's giving
I
his
think-
opinion about his beliefs, the way he's doing
He
it is
isn't
wrong,
giving-
according to your
Right.
opinion.
Yes, because he isn't giving his opinion about
That's
his
not
beliefs.
logical, sir.
Because he
It's just
isn't
argumentative.
because he isn't giving his opinion about his beliefs. He's
I've
giving
heard many of his opinions about his beliefs.
We'll do that We'll do it the hard way. He isn't giving his opinion about his beliefs. He's giving his opinion about other people's beliefs. That's my point. He thinks what other people believe is wrong. And
Yeah, he doesn't know about flat Earth.
And I think
his beliefs, he doesn't know.
I think he should defend what he believes to be right. And
That's your opinion.
when he says he's just being honest and he just doesn't know about anything, then I don't think that's true because he operates in the real world as if he really does know a lot of stuff, that he knows more than most other people in the world is how he operates. I've finished.
I'll tell you something funny in a second. Wait,
Boy, I really triggered Jem. Wow.
Everyone knows what I sound like when I'm triggered. This is definitely not it. We're not
I
there
feel like
yet.
you just described all of us, Jim, to be honest with you.
That's not true. There's people in this room that they do think they know more than other people, and they do try to present that. That's true. But I remember one time that guy Cece, the guy who sits in New York and does those videos from his car. He was on the Tao's flat Earth retard show or whatever, and he was sitting in the car talking about how he used to be like everybody else. He used to be it was a globe, but then he woke up one day and he sees the world for what it is, and now he's the smartest person in the world, or one of the smartest people in the world. So it's like the people who think that everybody else is being tricked and lied to, they all think that they're smarter than everyone else. So it's kind of it's different than the people who just think they're, they know things or something like that.
And I think
Kruger.
And those guys are crazy because I'm smarter than they are.
I think you could apply that statement I made generally to flat earthers, not absolutely all of them, but generally speaking, that's where it's gone these days. Most people hold the position that they don't know about anything and they aren't prepared to defend anything. They just want to say this thing's wrong and this thing doesn't work and this thing doesn't make sense, that is held to be true by the mainstream. And I think that is, as I was really, I guess, trying to point out to SE, I think that is because that they know that stuff isn't going to stand up to challenge. That's been shown over and over again. And so all they can do is say, well, I don't have a position. I just think you're wrong.
Mm. I mean, it's why I described the flat Earth shouldn't be called the flat Earth position. It should really be called the I don't know position.
Right.
But I want to tell you something funny. I forgot QE said this yesterday. Somebody was making fun of Witsit and Nathan, or they were complaining about them because they said they were making Flat Earth look bad because they were talking about at their launch. They were like arguing with people and then claiming that the dome was made out of gold and stuff like that. And like, what? They really said that? And there was like they were saying this to QE, and then they were waiting for Q to respond, and then Q said, he's like, yeah. I was like, what if? He's like, what if it is? It's like, what if it is gold? And I was like, how does he sit there? He's like argues against like everything everybody else says, but here's like something ridiculous like that, and he's like,
right,
all for it.
Presumably, this is some transparent form of gold, is it? I mean, how is it we can't see the gold?
I have no idea, but they did say it was is because they call Earth being in the Goldilocks zone, so they think that's part of the evidence for it.
Right. Oh,
so it's a gold dome with windows that have locks, hence the Goldilocks zone, and that's how the fountains of the deep and the fountains in the sky can be opened for the next flood. I see it now. This makes sense.
Yeah, not to mention that those locks are really good at getting access to the storerooms that hold all the hail.
Mm.
No, you're wrong. It's locks as in the fish.
What do they think that the Goldilocks zone actually is? If
a
they
good
don't
place to eat
ascribe
porridge, I would suggest.
anything
Yeah,
to flat Earth.
that's what I was going to say.
The truth is hiding in the name.
Yeah, it's not the name of a girl from a fairy tale that just happens to be,
There's definitely some porridge involved somewhere in this, definitely.
Or at least
what are the odds?
Breakfast cereal.
I'll show you a planet which they say is in the Goldilocks zone. I'll post it.
Oh, it's called Earth.
What are the odds that the dome is actually made out of gold, and that name fits perfectly with the fairy tale character who was in the perfect, found the perfect position, all that kind of stuff.
That's incredible, isn't it?
The truth in plain sight, man.
Yeah, hidden in plain sight.
I always love that word. It's like
they're mocking you. They're laughing
hide
at
anything.
you.
I thought the dome was made out of pink unicorns.
Might as well be.
Well, actually, the Sumerian dome has 7 layers, each made out of different material.
That us pulling it around at 3,000 miles an hour.
Let me ask you guys a question. Whether you believe in evolution or maker, whatever, do you think the maker of this place could have made an invisible dome?
Do you think the maker of this place could have used evolution as the mechanism for change?
Ooh,
sure.
Good
yeah.
response.
Yeah, I agree with you. He could have. He could have done anything he wanted.
I think it's irrelevant whether the maker could or couldn't make a dome. The only question is, did he?
Exactly. Nobody knows.
Well, he made belts.
Well, we have no evidence for it, so therefore it seems pointless to postulate it until we have some of evidence that states that this could.
Most people know there's no dome, so there's only a few
So you
people who
think the
don't.
maker should have provided you evidence?
Oh well, no, I think the maker
Of
could have
how
down
we're
here
being-
to actually discover the world around us and to understand it better. And I think it would be rather stupid to put systems in place that we cannot comprehend. So I think everything is within our comprehension. It's just our ability to examine it, to allow us to comprehend it.
So when you make a fish bowl and you put lights on top and you put a little thing to make oxygen in the water and you throw food, you think you made it so your fish could comprehend this thing?
Yeah, they can, because they bump into it, turn around and swim back the other way.
Hold on. The little thing that you put in the water doesn't create oxygen. It's breaking the surface tension on the top that releases the gases out the water and lets oxygen in.
Thanks for my correction. Yeah. However it does it.
This argument.
I don't remember. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Not only is there not evidence that that there's a dome, but there's actually evidence that there's not a dome, and actually more than enough evidence that there's not a dome. Almost proof. I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, proof.
Yeah, I think it's good evidence. It's good proof. You know, we've gone up into space. We could chuck stuff up there.
Yeah, I think you could say proof. It's as proven as anything.
So your dome is gravity, right? It keeps everything in, right?
No, it's not a dome. In fact, actually, I could invoke density equilibrium equally as well, because space is less dense than air, so therefore air should be below space.
And not
so
everything.
Kind of like your dome is invisible, right? It's called gravity, right?
It's not a dome.
Gravity is not a dome.
I think that they may have looked at it as the dome, as a dome. Just in their way of understanding things when we first started discussing these things,
Sure. But
they
that shows
didn't
their
have the science. Well, of course, but they also thought that, I think, this is just my opinion, but when they say a burning bush, I don't necessarily think, unless that bush was set on fire, I think that they maybe just called it a burning bush, which invokes the idea of it being on fire, which it could have been a bush that when you touch it, it irritates your skin and it makes you feel like you're on fire. So,
Ooh,
I mean,
poison ivy was the burning.
yeah. So, why couldn't the dome be an explanation of what they just didn't understand? But they were sort of right for their time.
They were exactly right, actually, because at least in some definitions of the word, because it just means a single. It's like another word for sky. Like the sky is a single entity that is everything in this, in the sky, and the firmament was just the entirety of the sky, like the stars, the sun, all that kind of stuff.
But I think a long time ago, people thought there was like a finite distance up there and an actual physical object. I think the ideas of the distances involved are very hard for early people to understand. Just like a round world was hard for very, very early people to understand in the beginning, or some challenge.
Of course,
today.
Of course, it was
I think
incredibly difficult.
I don't think it's a metaphor. I think they actually believe there's a physical object up there.
Well, they could have. Or they could have just said, well, we can't see a physical object, but we know there's something separating us from God. So,
Well, it depends which groups you're talking about now. I mean, there weren't a lot of people believe gods were closer to Earth in a lot of the earlier religions. In early Greek
about
religions.
the Bible writers.
Okay, well, you're talking about Abrahamic religions in particular,
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's where this is flat Earth today is still based on that.
Right.
As we know it, it comes from the Bible.
Well, microphone working.
Yes, it is.
I know plenty of religious people who don't believe in this nonsense. So
yeah, most of them.
I wouldn't go that far.
Saying flat Earth, though. Do you know flat earthers who don't believe in this nonsense? And yes, there are exceptions, but honestly, this movement is based on it.
Right.
I do not. Yeah, okay. I do not know the religious backgrounds of most flat earthers. I've heard some of them, like Lemon, who are expressly religious, and Rakia, but I don't know if all of them are. So I'm willing to believe that. Religion makes people believe all kinds of stupid, crazy things. So.
See, it would just be an extension from a belief that's existed since the beginning of their beliefs. So it's just, again, I think it's just maybe a misinterpretation of what it actually was written down to explain. Like maybe a more simplistic way to explain something that simple people, and this is not, I'm not being insulting, I'm just being real. Simple people would not understand the complexity of, atmospheric gradations and things like that. And gravity and things like these are sheep herders. These are people who worked very hard to survive a short life span, so
sure,
just
and that's a good excuse
explaining things
2,000
as
years
simple
ago,
as possible.
not today.
Right. But the problem is that those misinterpretations were never updated, and if they were updated, then the people who stick strictly to the original interpretations are offended by the modern interpretations. And we have people who are choosing to stick with the original interpretation.
Well, the vast majority, the vast majority of followers of Abrahamic religions today know that the Earth is round. They don't believe this nonsense. So there's a very
I
small.
agree, but this isn't about them, right? This isn't about them, though. Flat Earth is not about those people. It's about these.
Right,
people.
but you're by claiming that there's something inherent in the religion that leads to that interpretation is that. Well, I'm trying to show that that's.
It's in their original interpretation.
For some segments of the population, sure.
There's actually an old saying that was recorded that said, "In Greece, the world is round. In Asia, the world is round. In Jerusalem, the world is flat and under a dome." And it was an actual. This was supposed to be a quote from a historian around about the time. Was it around about 200 BC or so?
To China and Greece.
They're making fun of flat earthers like a long time ago.
Have you seen the Greek one where they have like different spheres, a sphere within a sphere, or is it half a sphere? And the Egyptian one.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them, and I've seen them, and it's correct that the Greeks wrongly got the idea that it was geocentric.
Yeah, they had many ideas. Yeah, just not just one Greek idea. Correct.
They had that idea for a long time though. Ever since what's his name? What's that guy's name?
The Greeks.
That's what
Aristarchus and Samos was one of the first heliocentrists.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're still not having that debate rather than the flat versus globe.
But it is, but they're connected, right? Because the flat earthers believe that the sun goes around the Earth also in some weird way.
Well, it goes above the flat plane.
Right, but they believe the Earth is stationary. It's the sun that's moving relative to the Earth.
Right, it's on a circuit.
So
yeah, but
even
I
if they
think
don't
you
believe
guys have a
round, it's the same
misconception.
basic idea.
We gotta walk before we can run.
I mean, there are some geocentrists.
The funny thing is, they don't learn from their own religious history. The Catholic Church tried for over a millennia to make the patterns of the sun, like to force it for the sun to go around the Earth, for the Earth to be the center. And they had a very good astronomy program, but the problem was it never worked. So every year they had to update their models with these crazy things called epicycles in the documents, and it was like they had more and more and more complicated, weird exceptions and explanations to explain observations, and it got completely out of control until like Kepler came and Copernicus and well, this is stupid. But they tried for like 1,500 years to make it work. And it just got worse and worse and worse because they actually tried. They had a lot of really good observation of planetary movements and sun movements, and it did not work. Nothing worked. So they kept having to do ad hoc, post hoc explanations to try and make it work. And they have documents of like all the astronomers for centuries in the Catholic Church trying their hardest to make this work. And these patterns and these explanations are so crazy. They got crazier and crazier over the years.
Disorder border, have you finished?
Yes.
I just wanted to say disorder.
We have a little chaos going on.
There are some geocentrists, like the Robertson Jennings, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the movie The Principal was a geocentrist movie.
Wasn't what's her name? Charlotte? Wasn't Charlotte geocentrist?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I think she was.
So I kind of wonder why like Mark Sargent would pick that I guess the map or dome, or I mean the model,
globe.
The AE model that was made by this guy. That his whole thing was that he helped develop. I'm going to post it right now. He helped develop the how they measured the Earth. He helped develop the whole orbits. He was an Iranian physicist, but his whole thing was about globe. And I was like, why would he pick? Because he even puts it in his own video.
Because Mark Sargent's in this for entertainment purposes and money making reasons.
Right.
It was so easy. I mean, it took me 5 minutes to.
He's made some good money off Flat Earth, right?
He has.
Fair play, we would.
So be it.
Sure, suckers gonna lose their money fast, always.
Yeah, I guess if people want to believe it, who are we to say that they shouldn't?
Anyway, we're going to debunk Nathan's 6 housekeeping questions. Who's excited? Does anyone remember what they are?
Yeah, good question, Jim. When did we decide this?
Yeah, housekeeping robot.
Well, you know, because Nathan, he hasn't spoke to you guys about obviously current science in terms of Cavendish, right? And this.
Hold on, are you on some mission for Oakley? If this ends up in an Oakley video, I shall be very, very angry with you, Kimo. I want to continue this. You what?
No, what are you on about? This is.
Yeah.
All right then.
My quest.
Okay.
I heard some weird stuff from QB
I'm just trying to give incentive. Get this.
What'd you hear, Kosho?
Get this
experiment
done.
Is Nathan Oakley like questions is still a thing? I haven't seen that individual in months.
Well, I don't know. That's why I was just saying. I was asking what they are, if I remember them, and
no,
a lot of them will be answered by this experiment.
He seems to get that. He seems to get the most excited when he talks about the R value.
Right.
Well,
it's almost as if you could feel the
yeah, but this question won't answer. This experiment doesn't answer the R. It will answer gas pressure one. And what else?
Well, from what I've heard over the years is that every single one of the questions has been answered. They have been rejected by him, the answers, but they have been answered. So I don't know what you expect to get a different answer.
The questions are poorly phrased, are like broken questions. We can understand what the questions mean, but just the phraseology, the way they propose the questions, is just totally wrong. But I don't know. You want to play?
Well, Nathan wouldn't accept Cavendish in the first place, right?
And do you think any of us give a fuck what Nathan like accept or not? Like, who is he? Is he some kind of a leader or god?
No, he's a flat earther who raises awareness to a wide audience. So if we can, again, if you,
well, he knows where to find us, right?
Again, it's not about bringing Nathan here or going there. It's not about that. You're missing that we can shut down the entire flat Earth community if we have this experiment. Point is,
I think the whole flat Earth community will shut down by itself if people start being honest.
This is something that will go on for.
If you start being honest, Oakley and the rest, then the flat Earth is just.
That's never going to happen, Jose. Sorry, that'll never happen.
It might.
Flat Earthers and honesty do not go hand in hand.
Well, all we need is an experiment, and then got what we're asking for.
No, actually, I have to back up Jose there. We need an experiment and some honesty. If the honesty is lacking, the experiments ain't gonna do shit.
When Jeremy asks, how do you have gas pressure? You'll be able to say, well, Jeremy, have you seen this experiment? We have the answer. I'm just saying, any flat earther that you come across who has these arguments will be debunked by a scientific experiment, which we don't have.
Okay, what experiment are you talking about? Let's get to the.
He wants Cavendish in a vacuum. That's what he wants, so that.
Oh.
And he doesn't just want the paper from it. He wants it in a live action video. Most likely done in a live stream. That way, there could be no quote unquote editing.
You could buy Blue's equipment, all the stuff that went into his experiment, because I think he's done with his, right?
Well,
flat earthers never pay for these experiments themselves.
Really, you should
They're
say
just like
that
demanded of other people.
Disorder border, because BioDual has. First of all, he said I can go to a college university and show you. He went there. He come back. He said, "Well, I can't find one." Then he said, "I'm going to buy a vacuum." So we looked online. I think he's bought a vacuum, and now he's putting the Cavendish in that vacuum, and he's trying to conduct that experiment. He's been working very close with Blue Disorder Border.
Well, there you go. You got somebody to do your work for you.
Not my work. It's
But
their claim.
It won't matter
Yeah,
because flat earthers will dismiss it anyway. It won't matter what it shows. Flat earthers will find a way to dismiss it if it doesn't confirm their bias.
Well, I'm not new to this rodeo, so I understand.
No, Disorder Border. That won't happen. We've been through the criteria, and if they do that, achieve this, we have the force.
I'm sorry, but
I don't believe you will change your mind if they do that. I think you're lying.
You'll always find an excuse, and until you can tell me how this will actually make a difference, and I'll give you 2 decimal places. You have to show me it's more than 2 decimal places different. Okay? Unless you can demonstrate how it's going to make a difference, I really don't feel the need to bother with it.
Okay, again, we're not interested in the calculations. We're only interested in the observation, the observed phenomenon.
You have to show me it's going to make a difference.
It's already been done, Bob.
What you just said makes no sense in the context of this experiment you're talking about, which is par for the course with you. You lie, you make up stuff, you don't know what you're talking about.
No, we've had experts.
No, you have not had experts.
No, you have misquoted experts. There's a difference.
So they have peer-reviewed papers which they've done Cavendish.
Which you misinterpreted.
What? So they didn't do it in a vacuum.
Misinterpreted.
Well, hold on. Did they do it in a vacuum or not in a vacuum?
Don't know.
But they did for an
They
engine.
did, yeah. So what's Bob talking about? They did it in the vacuum.
Did they?
For an engine.
So Bob, you've never heard of a Cavendish being done in a vacuum chamber?
Why would that make a difference?
Have you never heard of that?
We've already asked you that question.
That's what he keeps asking you, Kimo. What difference does a flat earther expect to see in a Cavendish vacuum experiment?
Unless you can show me that there will be a difference, and it's a significant
when the Cavendish
difference,
is
I'm not going to bother with it.
Of the vacuum, the cause, air, or the pressure inside of the container. So if you remove that, if you remove that air disorder border,
what's it going to do?
If you remove that air disorder border and put the Cavendish inside of a vacuum, there is no air.
Citation, please.
There is no air disorder border for it to press, for it to push.
Kimo.
They're freaking out disorder border. You see, look at them, listen to them.
There is no citation for what you claim.
Kimo, what difference do you expect to find?
So disorder border. If you put the Cavendish in a vacuum chamber, it won't move. There's no movement because there is no air for it to move. Now, they won't show. See, again, they won't let me finish. They won't let me finish disorder border. Look, they won't let me finish.
Stop right there.
Disorder border, they won't let me finish. I'm nearly finished.
That is
I'm
your
nearly
job.
finished.
You need to demonstrate.
Look, disorder
Kimo.
border. We have disorder border. We have disorder at the border.
Before you go on, Kimo, you have to demonstrate that air currents
Spiraling, yes. I'm only trying to finish the twit, and then you can come in. I'm only trying to explain.
Guys,
I've
let him
demonstrated
finish.
that they
Please
don't,
let-
Kimo.
I'm only
Please
quickly
just
trying to
let him
explain.
finish.
I'm only quickly trying to explain to twit, and then I'm done. Twit.
Okay.
Outside of the vacuum, it moves because of the air. Inside the vacuum, we have no observation of it ever moving, and it won't move. That's what.
It's been done. It's been done. I posted a link for you.
Been done,
in
yeah. It's been
the
done.
Text chat.
We know. Oh.
Yes, in a vacuum.
Oh.
In a vacuum.
Damn.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay, so
hold
you,
the press.
you
Hold the
haven't
press.
demonstrated that
Hold
air
on, let me check
changes
this
the
out.
Cavendish
Let
at
me have a
all.
look at this, Twit. This is very good. So,
You haven't demonstrated yet that air makes a significant difference on the Cavendish.
all right, Twit, I'm looking at your link now.
When he's been shown this, he's going to say that it's not a video, so it doesn't count.
Okay, Twit. So
Yeah,
I'm
if
looking
it's
through
not
your
if it's
link.
not a YouTube video, he will not accept it.
I see a picture of the vacuum. It's open. Okay, I'm scrolling down. I see a couple of boxes, some diagrams, some more diagrams, some words.
Essentially, because Chemo is functionally literate when it comes to scientific
Hold on a
papers,
second. So, Twit,
this isn't acceptable.
Listen, Kimo, this is an amazing link right here. You have everything that you could possibly need except for a YouTube video.
No. Where's the observation of mass attracting
It's
mass?
written down. You can read through it, and it explains where it is.
Okay, so I'm reading through.
You can't even show us. You can't even show us observation.
Hold on. Twit, disorder border. We already know the hypothesis. We already know that if you put mass next to mass, there should be an attraction. We already know that. What we don't know is the observation. We've never seen it happen. So your paper is just...
You can.
It's in blue.
You have, and
I
then
have.
in the vacuum instance, in the vacuum experiment, Cavendish, then you can actually read about and imagine the observation through what you're reading.
I know. Again, we imagine the hypothesis, Twit. No one's arguing with the hypothesis, imagination, prediction.
Oh.
What we need to see is the observation of...
Do you like reading at all? Do you ever read
can't even
like
define the
nonfiction
observation.
and you get a vision and where you read a word and you can pull that up in your mind? Like when you read the word sunshine, you know what that is in your mind. You can see sunshine. You can't do that. Is there a problem with that? Because you could read these and see through what they're saying with their words, the movement.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
I'll get back to you, Twit. Jeremy, you wanted to say something to Twit?
No, you've given
Yeah,
them
we want to.
what
We want to
we
see this
want.
happening.
You can through
I've shown it to
reading
you,
what they
Jeremy.
said. Yes, they're showing it
We
to
can
you.
see it when we read it. When
Yes.
we read about someone seeing it. We're going to read about someone seeing it. We're not going to actually see it, though, right?
Well, I mean, do you need picture books then is what you're saying?
No, we
You-
just
you
want to
need-
see it happening. We think you're lying, and we want to see it happening.
Nuh-uh.
Wow.
I don't think they're lying. They've got the papers, Jeremy. Why would they lie? Why would they lie? Why would they lie? Why would they? Why
We
would they?
know
Why
you
would they?
cry, why you cry? Why you cry?
Why would she
I'm
cry?
shown to.
Why
Let me
would
show-
she? Why would she lie? Of course, she has the experiment that goes along with the paper. So, Twit, please provide the experiment.
I've got 600 gigabytes
run
of it if
away.
you want to see it.
Darn.
You
Jeremy,
gotta- but you got to make a video of you watching it.
Why did she run? Why did she run? That's because
I haven't run anywhere. You said it hasn't been done in a vacuum, and I provided evidence that it has. At least one example of when it has.
Yeah, and Jeremy asked you, where is it? Can we see it?
Yes, I
Yeah, that's
posted the
just-
link. Does he need me to post the link again?
That's just words on paper. I can write anything down and say, "Look, there it happened." Say,
God.
"Look, there saw it happen."
See, this is the level of dishonesty of flat Earth right there.
I couldn't write anything down on a piece of paper and just claim that it happened.
Well, it may be
You can
common
use it
practice
on their paper and
your
replicate
job,
what they did.
Jeremy.
You mean like God?
Good job, Jeremy. It may be common
in the
practice
Bible?
to lie about what you've done on your job that day. That is not common practice in science. It does not happen.
And that's not a fact that it's been verified like hundreds of
I'm
times.
saying, I'm simply trying to say it as politely as I can. Just because you know that you would be willing to lie does not mean that anyone else is willing to do that.
Anybody here have a?
To recap, these videos have been presented to Kimo along with a lot of papers and information, but he decides to turn a blind eye to all of them.
Kimo was asking for the video, Jose, and Did it happen? What do you mean it's been presented? You act like
You
it's
do
been
not need a
presented.
goddamn video of it.
KIMO'S asking and he hasn't seen it.
Video is not necessary for this thing.
Jeremy, I'm about to debunk flat Earth. I'm sorry. Once BioDual provides this mass attracting mass in a vacuum, you're done. Any of this, what holds the gas down? Why doesn't the gas go into space? We've got the answer with this observation. It's coming.
But could it not be electrostatics causing the mass to attract the mass and not space-time bending?
They're grounded, Jeremy.
Once again, chemo density and buoyancy covers that anyway.
No. Without that force, without that force, Moyak, you can't include buoyancy without the force of gravity. See?
Don't need it.
Just a second. I just want to point that not every torsion ballast implies Cavendish experiment.
That's fine, but don't spoil it.
Experiment has nothing to do with Cavendish.
Don't spoil it.
That is true. They're used for many things.
But I've noticed this too, Jackie, but we don't gotta spoil it. But
I need to be fair.
Well, to be fair, that's fine. But does anybody have access to Nature, or is there somebody with a student email, like a college email or whatever?
Why? What would that prove?
I'm trying to get access to this paper that is doing the Cavendish in a vacuum.
Whoa.
Nervous.
Kosho, send me the link. I'll get it.
What do you mean? You're making me nervous, Kosho. You're saying someone's actually observed this in a vacuum?
What Kimo say, you can give him all the papers that you want, even paying big money. If he doesn't see it in a video, it doesn't exist. That's what Kimo saying.
That's not what I said. Jeremy also agreed. Where is it? We need to see it.
People could write anything down.
Yeah,
I could make up this elaborate story and write it down and say, "Look, there, it happened."
Just make a video.
So I'm correct in what I just say. You can give it. We can give you all the papers that we want. If you don't see it on a video, you don't believe it. That's a fact.
You see a picture of it happen.
There's a state in America. It's called the Show Me State. I forget which one it is, but we want to see it. Show me.
It's Oklahoma.
There you go, Oklahoma, the Show Me State. Show me.
Missouri was.
That's for boobs.
From Missouri, you wanted to know.
It doesn't matter.
See their boobs, but hey, what if I show you a picture, Jeremy? Which that would be
a picture of mass attracting mass in a vacuum.
We're showing you a picture.
Why don't you show? All right, why don't you show like 3 or 4 pictures when they're apart, and then they get closer in each picture. You have something like that.
Humans.
No, I'm not going to do that.
That video saying that it was you can't see the vacuum gauge. So you need a view of the vacuum gauge simultaneously, the vacuum gauge could be broken and just have a number on it. So you're just going to say, well, we're not sure that it's a vacuum unless you put your finger on it.
You can be as paranoid as you like, right? Bio has no reason to lie.
I've seen you work.
Yeah, but you can be paranoid if you want. People who do science do it genuinely and honestly. BioDual is going to buy a vacuum. He's going to put Cavendish. He's going to show the gauge. He's going to show everything that needs to be showed. He's going to be live, and we're going to have.
How do you know the gauge works?
Going to have that force. Not Jeremy. Jeremy's always saying to you guys, where does the gas? Why does the gas stay on the Earth? Right?
You don't even believe in pressure.
No, gravity is that gives atmospheric pressure. That's what we say, right? But without gravity, then it doesn't hold the atmosphere up.
Pressure's been ruled out. Air pressure, air movement has been ruled out, Kimo.
Jeremy, tell them what you say about the gas pressure. Why doesn't what's the deal with that?
Well, you need that. You need that container, just like Blue's lead pipe. You need that container.
Oh, just shut up, Jeremy.
Just like a lead
What
pipe.
are you talking about, Kimo?
Well, Blue, think about it, right? Once you've got this experiment, Jeremy won't be able to argue this way because we'll have the force. What's wrong with you?
Have the force. So what's wrong with you?
No, we have the cause to your experiment, which is the air. Remove the air.
No, you don't. You can't prove that. You've not proven that, Kimo. You need to prove it.
Yes, because BioDual.
You have to prove it, not me. You have to prove it.
BioDual is trying to conduct the experiment as we.
Ruled out air movement as a cause.
And the
Chemo.
reason for the delay.
And by the way, you're totally misrepresenting where biodual is in this.
Reason for the delay, while biodual is delaying because
Does he have it designed?
he's already practiced.
Does he have it designed yet?
He's already tested it, and he's nervous because obviously why?
No,
would
he's
he
not. No, he hasn't.
Why would he
He's
just
still
be so
talking about
foolish?
how to build it, Chemo. I'm in daily communication with him.
Why
He's
would
not
he be so
done a damn thing yet toward building it.
You're lying.
So stop telling the lies. You're just
Why
lying,
would he be
Chemo.
so foolish as to just put the experiment straight live without knowing the results?
Why would you be so foolish to already say what you were going to do if it comes out that it's
He's gonna test it first, isn't he? On his own.
You said you're not going to be a flat earther anymore, and you said that flat Earth's going to be over.
I said we will have the force to explain to Jeremy here and to anyone else who says, why doesn't the gas go into space? Yes, we have the tides explained by the moon. Yes. Gravity is a force in that case. And that right now we don't have the experiment, but like I say, biodual, working on it. Once we have that.
Done and dusted. Done and dusted, Chemo. Have another look at it.
No, Blue. This is not in a vacuum. No, the core.
It doesn't have to be in a vacuum. I ruled out air movement as
Ruled it out. What, with magic? With your magic wand?
I ruled out.
Oh, because
I ruled it out, Chemo.
How can you just say?
You were in an air. You were in a room with air where the air wasn't moving.
I can let that thing sit for a day, and that balance does not move at all because the enclosure is sealed. Jeremy, you little nitwit.
You were in a room where the
balance is in. No, the balance is in a room. Is no air movement.
Okay, you were in a room where the gas. I thought you were done. My bad. Let me know.
He won't let any of us talk, Jeremy. He's muting us by over talking us.
Fun demuting, yeah. That's what they do lately.
Well, go on then, Jeremy.
I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Nobody's saying that you can't do it. He's saying that there's no reason for him to have to do it.
Okay, I agree that you guys aren't bright enough to do it, but let me tell you, I am bright enough to do it. It's in a sealed enclosure. There's no air movement inside that enclosure. Balance will sit perfectly stationary after you let it settle. That proves
you're in a room
inside there.
So you're in a room where the gas.
Blue, you've just lost control.
Never
There's
mind.
no talking to you
Never
or
mind.
anything. You're out of your mind. I don't know where you think you are and all this thing. This is not a scientific discussion.
I'm trying to let Jeremy speak. If you'll shut the fuck up, Chemo. Go ahead, Jeremy.
So you were in a room where there was gas molecules, and these gas molecules weren't moving. They were just frozen in time, or how does that work?
Or what kind of fucking idiot are you?
I don't know.
Of course, the gas molecules are moving. They're moving in all directions. Everything. And are you gonna let me answer or not?
Well, all right, go ahead. I want to respond after though, because you're claiming that you were in a room where the gas molecules.
Jeremy, there's zero net movement. Okay, net movement. Yeah, yes, molecules are
the gas molecules.
I can't believe you asked that question. You're so fucking idiotic.
Let Blue respond real
It's
quick.
all right,
Holy shit.
Kocho. It's all right.
It is all right now. No.
All right.
First.
No thinking. Okay, go on, Blue.
Jeremy, I never said the gas molecules are not moving. Obviously, they are. That's a property of gas, but they're moving in all directions equally. There's no net movement.
Okay, you just
what
claimed
I said
that
is there was. No. Let me finish. What I said is there's no air movement inside that sealed enclosure that would cause the balance to move, and I can prove that by measuring and observing the position of the balance. It sits perfectly stationary. Now, go.
So the air was moving. The gas molecules are moving in the room, right?
Could acknowledge what Blue
just so everyone's clear. Just so everyone's clear, the air is moving in the room.
No,
air moving in the room or not?
the air is not moving in the room. The gas molecules are moving in all directions. That is no net movement.
I'm getting dumber listening to Jeremy. Like that's how I feel right now, seriously.
You need, Jeremy, is the air to move all in one direction continuously in order to make movement.
I don't know what the first is. Biodual is about to present an experiment that
Why was this hard on you guys with Biodeal, bro?
because he said you don't know what you're talking about. I have seen Cavendish in vacuum. I will present it. That was last year. Okay, so he said he could prove that gravity is a force. Okay, that mass attracts mass. So why should we let him forget that? This is something that will debunk all of the flat Earth claims that gas pressure needs a container. Okay, if you want that to be a reality, we need a real experiment. Now, Biodual.
I can give that to you right now.
Ah, excellent. Let's not wait for Biodual. So present me mass attracting mass in a vacuum.
Stop.
In a vacuum.
You asked me to present. You asked me to present gas pressure next to a vacuum.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, then I won't give it to you then.
I don't need any of that. What we need is force of gravity, mass attracting mass. Explains tides. It explains the gases. Explain the orbits.
I can do that too.
No, you can't. Not until you have this force.
I can. I can show you there's a force.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look. Always interesting.
Great. All right. Now, here's the rules. You don't interrupt me when I talk. Fair enough?
Absolutely.
Great. You ever see a vacuum chamber? That's a question for you.
Not to interrupt you. I'm listening. Go for
it. Correct. I am. Now, I asked you a specific question. Are you familiar with vacuum chambers?
Please, I'm listening. I need to
Are you familiar with vacuum chambers?
Because you're going to end up asking me silly questions and I'm going to give silly answers. So make your point. Get through it.
Well, you have to acknowledge that vacuum chambers exist first.
Think of him like he doesn't know anything, like he's a kid.
Tell me what
like
you know,
3-year-old.
Bob. We're interested. We're listening.
He knows what a
all
vacuum
yours. All yours, Bob.
All right. Well, you're not going to respond, so I'm done.
Jeremy, do you want... Oh, Jeremy's gone. See? But, I mean, look. If you've got the evidence, Bob, of force, of gravity, force... hold on, Jeremy, did you get muted?
I do, but you won't even acknowledge the basis of the argument, so I'm not going to make it.
Well, again, exactly. What we're looking for is that force, the force of gravity.
Correct. And I asked you a very specific question. Are you familiar with a vacuum chamber?
Not about me.
Are you familiar with a vacuum chamber? Yes or no?
Not about me.
If you don't answer the question, I'm not going to go on.
Bob, what we're looking for is very specific. We're looking for the force of gravity.
I am too. I'm looking for a specific...
No,
you can't ask me answer to
about
that question.
Anything if you're about to provide the force of gravity that we'd like to see. What are you asking me for?
Do you acknowledge the existence of vacuum chambers? Yes or no?
Bob, I acknowledge you're about to explain the force of gravity.
Nope, we're done.
Well, that's how difficult it is, guys, ladies and gentlemen. This force.
Yeah, all you have to do is deny any.
I don't have to do anything. I have to
listen
listen to how you can explain and demonstrate this force.
All right. Well, I'm going to humor you just because I feel like humoring you.
Thank you.
There's a thing on this earth called a vacuum chamber.
Okay.
Now, as we know, if we have two containers, one of which has gas pressure in it and the other has a vacuum, and we connect it with a tube, the pressure will equalize between the two. So, if you look at the sphere as a container and you look at the vacuum chamber as a sealed container, the way that we create a vacuum chamber is we pump the air out of the vacuum chamber until there's no more air in the vacuum chamber. Now there is a vacuum in the chamber and there is gas pressure in the atmosphere. Okay? Under the second law of thermodynamics, if we don't do anything between the connection between the air in the atmosphere and the vacuum chamber, the pressure will immediately equalize. Why doesn't it equalize? Because we apply a pump to it. What does the pump do? The pump applies work to the atmosphere that is within the vacuum chamber. Now, work is defined as the displacement of mass in the direction of an applied force. Therefore, in order to get the air out of the vacuum chamber, we must apply a force to it and physically move the mass of the air. Now, under this, that's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics as defined by flat earthers, but it is not a violation of the second law of thermodynamics because it is not a system in which a force is not being applied. Work is not being done on the system. Now, if the second law of thermodynamics was true, as you seem to understand it, the atmosphere would have a uniform pressure from the surface to whatever the wall of the container is. That is not the case. Air has mass, and that mass is being displaced by the application of a force. Therefore, you have a pressure gradient in that system, and we have a pressure gradient in the atmosphere. So by definition, since the atmosphere has mass and it is being displaced, there is an applied force acting upon it. The applied force is called gravity. And that, my friend, is how we have a pressure gradient in the atmosphere. End of discussion.
That is rather fantastic hypothesis, Bob. And again, as I said before, I do.
It's not a hypothesis. It's easily tested
I just
by
let you
creating a
speak
vacuum
and didn't
chamber.
say one word as you spoke, Bob. Did I not?
I got breaking news, guys. If I could jump in here.
It does not. It does. It's not a hypothesis. It's a proven fact because we do indeed have vacuum chambers on the Earth, and that's how we create them.
Okay, quick, go on. He's just not going to let me finish.
Okay, so based off a lot of things that's kind of happened with RC wanting to hire QE to sing for his wedding or whatever, and then new Black Death, and me and him were going to meet at a bar and have a drink or whatever, just talk like men. Actually, after I mentioned it, Memore vet, but Battle Mod said he's got his whole farm and everything, and he has an octagon that he built there, and we could do some sort of MMA style competition. Like where everyone kind of puts in like a certain amount of money, and then they'll do it for a pay-per-view event. Crack Villain has a connection. He's a semi-professional mixed martial arts guy. He's got a connection to the gym where Battle Mod lives, Michael Smith, and they said they'll referee it. He said they'll do a sanctioned amateur event. And I was just like saying, who else would be interested in that? I mean, because right now we got me and New Black Death, Brenda, and McToon all live nearby each other. I will carpool over to Michigan. So, and then you say, oh yeah, all inclusive too. No, you don't have to worry about food or housing. Battle Mod has enough property on his farm to give beds, laundry facilities, and everything.
Aren't you a bit old to be fighting?
No, it's not fighting, dude. This is a mixed martial arts competition. It's combat sports.
Oh, I thought that was fighting. Okay.
No, dude, this ain't street. No. This ain't street fighting. This would be like for fun. It'd be like a thing that we could do it like every year, even. So right now, it's up in the works for like say the end of August or middle of September. That way, it'd give people about 5-6 months to train up to get ready for it. If anyone wants to do it.
I'll back your crib.
Yeah, I mean, is there anyone who would be interested? I could get like a short list of people who want to participate.
Is there a cassowary at the facility?
Yeah, they're talking about the medical too, because Battle Mod's cousin or something like that is on the fire department, and they said they would provide medical, free medical. Because over there, the fire department is also the ambulance service. It's like fire. But Rocket, are you in, dude?
No.
Why not? let's see. What about? I'm sure Curve's in, right?
It's self-evident why I say no. For fuck's sakes.
No, you don't have to. No pressure. How about this? Even if no globalists show up, it'll just be a bunch of flat earthers having fun. So we'll pay-per-view that even.
I don't think you're going to pay-per-view any of it, but I'd go. Why not?
Okay, so I got Kosho down, right? Well, so far right now we got me, Crack Villain, Battle Mod, Meme War, and QE, for sure. And maybe some other people.
Sounds like a video game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. You could be in your ring, and you could even introduce yourself as your Discord handle, like in this corner Crit, in the opposite corner New Black Death, and then it'd be a lot of fun. At the end of the day, we all like it's not going to be dangerous anybody, okay? Because you tap out before anyone gets hurt, and you get to pick your if you want to do boxing. Because Reasons was talking about he's a boxer. He doesn't want to do any sort of grappling. Yeah, Meme War that's kind of. Also, we'll do weight classes too, because Meme War is kind of a little guy. So if there's other little people, it wouldn't really be fair. See, also too, Crack Villain wants a piece of New Black Death, so he that's why he. But he's a big guy. He's like 6'4", but he's also because he said you called him a pedophile, so he wants to see what you like in the ring.
Do you have a Rakia?
You said Moyak, man, you're in.
You got a Rakia class?
Yeah, Rakia. I don't know. We'll see if he shows up. But so this is really preliminary. We just kind of worked out some of the stuff this morning. I said I would jump over and just gauge interest. So maybe you guys can bounce it around and see what you're thinking.
David asked Witsit when he was in here the other day. He asked him why he's not coming to Dallas. Like the guy had offered them to come to Dallas and fight, and he said because what did he say? He said because Nathan. No, that's right. He said because he's going up. I forget if he's going up north or if Nathan is. I forget who is going there, but they're going to North Carolina or whatever. But if they're going there,
Blue's in. Blue, that's awesome, Blue. Thanks.
I say you should invite Nathan and Witsit.
Yeah, Nathan. That's where we're going. That's really where it went with it, because Dallas Dave was talking about some sort of pay-per-view event between those two, between Thompson and Witsit, and we're like, hey, if that's enough, you guys seem interested in that. How about a full event? And at the end of the week, it would be a couple days, whatever, and then do a barbecue at the end. Everyone sit around and be like, hey, how'd it go? I don't have a problem jumping in the ring with anybody. There's no shame in losing to a superior opponent. If anything, it would be a lot of fun at least. At least better than the way the debate's been going for the last 5 years. At least this will be something people can look forward to, blow off some steam at the end of the year.
I'll jump in the ring. I'll box with Kosho. Just box.
Okay, so Jeremy.
Let the best Jeremy win.
Yeah, Jeremy Kosho, that'd be awesome. Yeah, it'd be in this corner, the battle of the big J's.
I'll wear an eye patch just to make it even.
Page versus Snaps.
Oh, Jose, are you in?
Yeah.
Just kidding, man.
Jose.
I'm down.
Jose, what do you think?
If I can bring a machete and I can use it, I mean.
No, this is not something where people are gonna get hurt, dude. It's not bring weapons.
No, nobody will get hurt. People will die.
No.
Bring a machete.
No, it's mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be like the fight scene from Anchorman.
I thought it was like Gladiator or.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
No.
It's not going to be like watching, MMA fighters. It's going to be all
it'll be all in or nothing. Only one live. Only one will be alive at the end.
It's more dangerous to fight with people who aren't professionals.
Oh yeah, professional fighters can really hurt each other. This is
for non-professionals can really hurt each other.
Well, I've seen sometimes those people get cracked skulls and stuff like that in professional fighting.
And you caught me killed.
Yeah, this is going to be just having fun, I would like to get Snack in the ring. So someone like Snack, that's who I'd want.
I'll give you a snack after your fight.
Well, Snack Attack, the smartest man in the world.
Kosho, if we jump in the boxing ring after the match, the work you're going to need is going to make the doctor retire.
Well, how about Rocket? Would you participate just as sort of a ring, like a side ring type of thing, or would you not participate at all? It might be kind of far.
What
You're kind of far for you,
the
right?
first time didn't you understand?
Well, I knew you said no. Yeah, I knew you said no to be a combatant, but what about other ways to participate?
You could be the
It
ring
was a
girl.
global
You
no.
could be a ring girl rocket.
Okay, it's a hard pass. Yeah, okay, Rocket, you're a hard pass. I will never ask you again, okay, unless you approach me with it. So, like, how about Rizla?
The first time you said no.
Yeah, we got Rizla.
Hang on, I heard my name.
Yeah, dude, do you want to go to, instead of like we can still meet at the bar and stuff too, but how about a MMA style combat thing at Michael Smith's ranch?
I thought you were saying, wait a minute, you were saying like New Black Death was already into it. That's one of the reasons I said yes.
No, he was into meeting in real life. He was already. Me and him were going to meet in real life, and that's it. So it seems like there is some interest to meet people outside of Discord. That's what. And then this is where my train of thought is. I might be coming in a little scatterbrained here because I didn't practice or any script or anything. So basically, New Black Death kind of made it seem like he wants to meet in real life. So it isn't inappropriate to suggest that. There's also interest in seeing combat sports. Dallas gave with Whitson and stuff. There's also a thing with R.C. Meiske wanting to hire QE to perform at his wedding. So all these things combined, let's finish the year out at the end. Towards the end of the year, with some sort of jamboree.
R.C. Meiske getting married at.
His nephew or something like that. I guess they're having some sort of. He's paying for the entertainment.
You should do like an arm wrestling category.
Yeah,
I don't really want to fight.
It sounds good. Yeah, or thumb wrestling even.
Or a push-up competition. Something.
Yeah, it could be all kind.
Pull-ups.
Pull-ups. Yeah.
Potato sacrifice.
Dude, I'll win the whole game of it, man.
Yeah, you take the cake, and then the next year you could be like, "Hey, Kosho, winner of the Flat Earth versus Globe Earth competition." You could do like your bona fides. You're like you could do like special titles like King Kosho or something like that. Like the heavyweight or the champion of Globe Earth versus Flat Earth.
We need rap battles in the middle of all the physical things.
Yeah, that too.
That'll be one of the decathlon games.
Yeah, you guys are really adding a really good idea. So you could do rap battles mixed in with it, and
it's a really good idea, huh?
yeah, I mean, it's adding. I mean, this is like I think this is something instead of now, like let's say for the next 6 months, instead of like shit talking everybody online, why don't we just work together to make an event like this happen? I mean, it would be like
have a death match in there. It would be nice to kill a few of them.
No, this isn't killing. This is
that would be fun.
No murder. Okay, no. This is going to be Highlander. Do you want it in?
Do you know
there can only be one.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, about to say, holy shit! Highlander wants a death match, a sanctioned death match. That'd be interesting. Be like, hey, no tap. There's no tap. Like this battle.